Hello, folks.
3 prisons were dedicated essentially to foreign prisoners. You couldn't get them out of the country. Now, what is it that you're going to bring forward?
Net migration needs to come substantially down. So,
OK, going to be less,
well, I mean,
less than 500,000.
No, it needs to come down. It needs to come down significantly more than that. We need to see a substantial reduction in net migration. But what we also need to do is see stronger controls in place and also changes in the way that the immigration system works. So, for example, we've had a big
I promise you want to get onto system, but just to get clear, the politics of this. You want to bring it down from 500,000? Do you want to get it down below the Chancellor, the ONS OBR estimate of 340,000? What would you feel comfortable with? What sort of number?
In a recent debate, Yvette Cooper from the Labour Party faced tough questioning from Trevor Phillips over her party's immigration policies.
Well, it's a plan to restore control and order to the immigration system and to bring net migration substantially down after really it was the Conservatives completely lost control of immigration. It quadrupled in the space of just 4 years. But the Conservatives did set out multiple targets, broken promises, all of them were broken. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to take that really failed approach because I think what we need to do is rebuild credibility and trust in the whole system. So we'll set out practical steps, we'll set out the impact that they will have, but we're not going to take the approach the Conservatives took because it failed.
While promising tighter controls, Cooper failed to provide concrete numbers on reducing net migration, leaving the issue unresolved.
We'll come to some of the issues, the steps, but your colleague, the Chancellor, has to have a planning number, and she's been working on the planning number of net migration of 340,000 a year. Is it correct that your department, Home Office, is now working for a higher number of over 500,000, which was the high prediction from the ONS?
No, and those are just a forecast that are done by the ONS. And there's a huge set of problems with all of those forecasts. Our view is, and there has been historically, you've seen the way in which they've been continually revised. But look, our view is that net migration needs to come substantially down. So,
But the real story lies in the government's commitments, such as cutting worker and care worker visas, while practical solutions remain elusive.
So the biggest increase in net migration over the last 4 years, that 4-year period where it quadrupled, the biggest increase was work and study visas. So what we are saying already is here's some new controls we're going to introduce on the skilled worker visa, for example, and the care worker visa.
What the Conservatives
The care
did,
worker
actually.
visa. Well, no, we're going much further than that. So they belatedly reversed a small number of the changes that they've made because, look, they were responsible for this massive increase.
All right.
So we're introducing a much tighter rule.
The big question is, what is Labour really willing to do to tackle the immigration crisis? With vague promises and numbers that don't add up, can their proposed solutions be trusted?
Let's stick with the ones that people most worry about. People who've committed crimes, who in some cases are dangerous. Now, there's been a responsibility on the Home Secretary since 2007. It was a Labour piece of legislation to return foreign prisoners, but you couldn't get them out of the country. I think last year it was estimated by the House of Lords Library that 3 prisons were dedicated essentially to foreign prisoners. You couldn't get them out of the country. Now, what is it that you're going to bring forward that will achieve what every Home Secretary for the last 18 years has failed to do? What's new? But where are you going to remove them to?
I'll come to your points. The 16% increase in the returns of foreign national offenders since the election, already as a result of what we're doing. You're right that there can be international barriers and there can be international problems, but that's not the only issue. So where we have those international issues, then we engage repeatedly, persistently, in a determined way, because we do think that people should return home if they break our law.
Make sure you watch until the end to uncover the truth behind Cooper's stance and what's really happening behind the scenes.
The things you've told me, though they may all be individually worthy, feel like they're going to make a relatively small difference. I mean, thousands, when we're talking actually now about hundreds of thousands. You want to bring the numbers down by, I know you won't give me a number, but from what you said, at least 250,000, maybe 300,000. this doesn't add up to 300,000.
Like, share and subscribe. The Labour Party is trying to control the flow of information, and you don't want to miss this.
My view is, in those circumstances, we should be taking stronger action. So we're going to broaden the number of cases. So we're going to set out new procedures. We'll set out more information on this later in the year. We're going to set out new procedures and develop new procedures to make sure that the Home Office is actually notified when crimes are committed that aren't custodial sentences. At the moment, the Home Office doesn't even know.
I thought we were going to hear the...
They've never agreed to do
that. So when these boats, as we've seen, our people have shown this, they come off the beaches. Are the French police going to get out there in their patrol boats and stop those boats getting into international waters? So, is that what they've promised you?
France have now agreed they're going to intervene in French waters. They've never done that before, and previous governments haven't managed to get that agreement in place. There is a thing now, they call it taxi boats, where what happens is the boat comes along with hardly anybody in it, launches much further up the coast, comes along, people wait in the water, and then everybody crowds onto the boat in the water, and because they are in the water, even in shallow waters, the French rules have said the French police can't intervene. Now, clearly, that doesn't make any sense at all. The French Interior Minister agrees with me. That doesn't make any sense at all. So it's now, they've changed their rules in French cabinet. They're now going to take action in the water, and they've committed to doing that and to starting work on that.
Forgive me, the only reason I'm hurrying out is I want to ask you about the trade deal that the Prime Minister was trumpeting this week. He's very pleased with it. I asked a Nobel laureate, Professor Joseph Stiglitz, you're an economist, you will know what a big deal he is. And here's what he said. He said, any deal with Trump isn't worth the paper it's written on. Is Donald Trump taking you for a ride?
Well, we have this agreement in place with the US. I think that is important, particularly the impact on our car industry, for example. It's really important for Jaguar Land Rover that we've got this agreement in place. Clearly, we want to go further in terms of the trading relationship with the US. We are an outward-looking trading nation, so trade is important. And what we've seen really in the course of this week is the new agreement both with the US and the new trade agreement with India. Both of those are things, again, that previous governments had talked about that we're getting on and doing to support our economy.
The partner